What the hell? Oh, this thing is always losing parts. Broken, kind of broken, not really broken, but kind of broken, need to finish the sides. Still haven't drilled out the bolt that's broken. I love that car and I need too much work. Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new to the channel, my last couple days and couple videos have been absolute torture. Everything is broke, everything is gone wrong, but we're here to resurrect that, and we're just going to stay positive and keep moving forward, because that's what is going to get us out of the funk and out of the groove, is to make forward progress. So today we're actually going to focus on the 6.0 today, and I've got to stop right here and say huge shout out to Blessed Performance, who has sponsored this video today. Don't mind the dog hair that was on here, but they went ahead and sent me a couple hats, a couple shirts, and they went ahead and sent me this 05 plus intake manifold. So if you guys don't know this intake manifold on these 6.0s, this one actually does not have a crossover tube, which if you did see previous videos of me working on this, you see that this has a crossover tube, meaning that there's a well, the high pressure oil pump sits below this, and then there's two sensors up here for the ICP sensors. So they're hard to get to. They're impossible to get to. You have issues with it, they suck. You got to pull the turbo, you got to pull the intake manifold, then you can get to those sensors and everything. However, and yes, I do know you can reach them from underneath and everything, but I had a leak on the O-ring that was going around the high pressure oil pump. So I wasn't able to get that off. I had to pull all this other extra stuff off to get to it. Now they sent me this intake, so now it'll be easy. I'll be able to actually access and pull that off without pulling the intake. So we're going to go ahead and get this installed here. I got to get it cleaned up a little bit. I did have it sit out here in my yard for about a week, so this is a little bit past when they sent it to me, but we're trying to get everything done and get everything moved on. Plus, I got the bed bolts that I needed for this, and I got a couple other things that, you know, came in finally for this truck. And I actually forgot to mention too that they are actually going to do tuning discounts of 10% off using promo code SendItSteve10. That's right, as you see it on the screen, 10% off, SendItSteve10. Definitely check them out. You're going to want to use them. They are actually tuning this truck, and then once we get the F450 back up and running, they are actually going to be the tuning people for that truck up there as well. So let's go ahead and get this thing torn apart. They do other things too other than tuning, guys. So they have a full shop and everything. They're just not close to me. They're actually like 1,400 miles away from me. Otherwise, this truck would have probably already gone over there by now, and the F350 probably would have got towed there from the previous breakdown. But that's okay. We'll get all this taken care of here in the backyard built backyard. Let's get started. My phone's been going off like crazy already all morning. All right, so we have this thing all torn apart, as you can tell here. I actually talked to Matt from Blessed Performance, and he said, hey, just double check that that screen is clean in the IPR. So I ended up tearing it apart. I'll actually put up a picture now. This thing was completely clogged and ripped. Here's the picture. So huge shout out, Matt, for catching that. I'm super glad that they actually had this in stock. I had to run a little bit far away. It was like a 45-minute drive to New Kingston, Pennsylvania, but they had a kit for it, a rebuild kit. I got the new O-rings and everything on. Now I'm going to go ahead and get this reinstalled up here. So if you guys are having no start issues or down on power, this is definitely your first thing that you want to check to make sure this screen is clean and clear. So here's the intake difference. You can now see up here, this is actually the old intake that I just took off. There's the crossover pipe piece, whatever you want to call it here. And I'm just gonna have to pull off my sensors, pull off my EGR, pull off my throttle body, and go ahead and get this thing getting tossed back together. So huge shout out again. I know I've said it 10 times in this video, Blessed Performance. If you guys need anything, definitely check them out. They have a website. I will have it in the link description. I will have it in the link in the description down below. And again, send it Steve 10, get you 10% off all tuning. So without further ado, let's get this thing back together. All cleaned up here, all the parts and everything are swapped over. I know you guys sometimes hate that I don't show you guys, but if you can't twist this off or you can't unbolt these 4 bolts, then I'm sorry for you. Sorry I didn't record it, but there it is. New intake is ready to go back in the F350. Let's get it put it back. Blech. Let's get it put back together. Always good to be behind the cop. I don't know why it's always weird when they're behind you, because literally I don't ever really do anything wrong, but it's always like, man, what if I miss a turn signal, or I turn too soon, or I don't turn, or what if my tail light's out, my license plate light's out? You never really know. So for them to be in front of you, it's always a good day. Let's get back and finish the 6.0. I'll explain why we had to run out real quick, and then we'll finish up the video. Oh, if he didn't put his turn signal on, I was gonna snitch. You guys like the step-by-step here. So as you can see, I have a new ICP sensor in. I have the cleaned out, I don't know what that one's called, but that pressure sensor is all like cleaned out, new filtration kit on it. We know that one works. We know we obviously have a new one. So I got the turbo tray back on here, or pedestal, and now it's time to just get the intake tossed in here. So set you up for a time lapse and let's get her back together. Going back together here, and if you know, you know. If you don't, well, then I'm sorry for you. But drop your comments down below if you know again. But we're getting this thing tossed back together here. All I have to do is the exhaust flanges and everything. You can see how easy it is to access the IPR sensor and everything right now. This intake definitely made a huge difference. So let's keep plugging and chugging here, get this thing back together. All I have to do is get the turbo on, get the charge pipes on, alternator, obviously the belt, put the coolant reservoir where it goes, the Digas bottle where it goes, and get the intake on. So we're making great headway. Last night I just kind of gave up because I wanted to continue making a video for you guys, because I love you guys, and I know you guys want to see some, you guys just like me working, I guess. You guys don't like when I just, you know, get things done. You like to see me slow down and take time for you guys, so that's what I'm doing. All right, plug and chug. Alrighty, take 3,472. Well, actually, no takes right now for starting. I got it all back together here, but this is like the 100th time I've had this thing back together. Moment of truth here. Let's see if we can actually get this thing fired up with ease. It should fire up. You guys are gonna see it in real time too. I'm not gonna do the crazy thing where, oh, it's running now. Like, we're gonna see this together. It's actually not too cold out either, and you guys just see me without a hat. I need to shave. Like, this week's been rough for me for sure. Come on, baby. Build oil pressure. Unbelievable. All right, well, off camera, I ended up having a bunch of different issues with this thing. So I ended up having to buy a high pressure oil pump for this thing. I couldn't get it to fire. I was losing oil pressure. So I'm assuming when the turbo went in this thing, it still had a bunch of metal in the oil pan, and then ended up sending it through the IPR sensor and the oil pressure, high pressure oil pump. So I went ahead, I finally got it running. I know you guys are kind of sad that I didn't show the footage, but I got it done. We are now back to tuning it for our modifications that we have here, and you guys can hear it fire up. Now again, I don't have the intake back on yet. I still have some things missing on it, but we're ready to fire it up. And I couldn't be any more excited to be about 25 minutes away from this thing being done, and finally able to go and get an alignment done, and then we can drive this thing more often. So here you go. Fires right up. Now I'll have to go in and change my layout and everything. I won't bore you guys with that, but I think it's actually already set up from the last time I had it in here. Yeah, we'll change some things around, but I'll do that for maybe a later video. If you guys want to know what I put up on the screen, I will show you in a later video. But that is going to go ahead and wrap up the video for today. Huge shout out again to Matt Story from Blessed Performance and KC Turbos, everybody that supports me on this build, rough country, everybody that just has been behind me on this build. We're ready to rock, ready to roll, and we might have to do some trails, guys. I told you guys I wouldn't do it, but I think we're gonna have to. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up. Please comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in an upcoming video. Take care. We'll see you in the next one.